Everyone, I'm so excited. I literally just listened to our very first interview, which was 10 years ago, which blows my mind because we both look like babies. Please welcome back to Kempire Radio, my friend, Lil Eddie.
Jeez, what's up, man? What's up, man? Thank you.
All grown
once
up.
again. Thank you, bro. I'm 16 now, but no.
You look like
so
it.
Much. I mean, trying, black don't crack.
First of all, I mean, it's crazy times, but the solace that music provides is always just so incredible. So I'm so excited about your new single. Can we just jump right in? What have you been up to in the last 10 years? For people that don't know you, I mean, you've been writing for artists like Jennifer Lopez, Mario, Jessie J, Kylie Minogue, so many people. The list goes on and on.
Yeah, I've been true to my vision and true to my passion. I've been doing music, writing, producing, and working on TV shows, forming superstar bands, by Simon, like with Simon Cowell, just right by his side, doing that. Just developing my own artists, and really just still on my own journey as an artist myself, because that will never change and that can never be erased. I'm like a prisoner to my own craft, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, we're glad that you're not stopping doing your own music, because you know that I've always been a fan of your original material for yourself as an artist. And it's so funny because today I actually, for the very first time, which shame on me, I saw your Statue video, because Statue was one of my favorite songs from you. And I was like, wait, wow. There's a video?
Yeah, that's an interesting story. I mean, like what happened was a little bit over a year ago, I started to get all this love on my social media platforms about Statue and I started to recognize all these numbers. I started music, and when I did music, a CD was so important, so the inside of a CD and all those things. And I think I was still in that world of producing music that there was not just background noise and there was tangible music. There was it was considered like a work of art, like like a Picasso or whatever. So when I realized everything happened online, I think it was just time for me to buckle down and kind of, I owe it back to myself to also water into my own artistry and to plant my own seeds and see my own harvest for my voice and my story. And I think this industry becomes something where, you try to keep your head above water. And then when you're doing really well, you start to neglect the very roots of why you even did music, was to give people your story and give music at a certain caliber. But when I seen what was happening with Statue, I said, I need to do something. I did researches. It was on the Billboard charts in Philippines. And then I seen that BTS tweeted my song and said, like, on a rainy day, listen to Statue. And I was like, wow, this is unbelievable, because I wrote the song 14 years ago and I never put it on Spotify. So I put it on Spotify a little bit over a year ago, and now it's over 12 million streams. Like, I didn't even go for playlisting, anything. I made the video I made was to all the fans, because that song literally, grew just because people decided to do covers and put my music on their channels. And I wasn't monetizing on all those streams and anything, but most importantly, it was overwhelming to me to see that people actually connected, and people in different countries, and like the Philippines, like really love the record, in Asia. And now I see a lot of stream activity in the US and in London. And it was like, wow, the power of music is just, it never fails to like just shock me, and that is also a testament to me believing in myself. I need to never forget that dream. And I feel stronger than ever, and I feel like I have so much more to give the world, which leads into, still now.
Yeah. And it's interesting because you always had a sort of a presence in Asia. And I know during our very first interview, we talked about Japan and how they really embraced your music as well. Have you been over there to really promote your music?
Yeah, my success in Japan is just, it's it's like one of the most important chapters in my artistry, because like when I lost everything in my deal with Diddy and Mario Winans and the other investor that was a part of my project, I lost a lot of faith, and what I had in place was a publishing deal. So I exercised just my writing, and a lot of songs I was writing since I was young, people wanted to sing them. So I did that for a while, but leading back into Asia, I don't know it was really crazy. I got, an offer for a record deal on MySpace. The record came out, went #1, and then I did touring over there, like opening up for Neo, like thousands of people, and I had an amazing career over there. And I think also those echoes in my, like, always tell me that, you know what, you have to get back to your artistry. Like, no matter how much you can give to other artists, that they can never tell your story the way you can tell it. And yeah, like I've toured in Japan, I've experienced that, but I need my voice to be heard on the same streets I grew up on. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, definitely.
So kids like me, they understand that you can be anything you want to be, and nothing's gonna ever be easy. And I think also the world is facing that now, seeing the struggle of a minority, and it's heartbreaking, but we have to know that everything changes, nothing stays the same. And I'm optimistic, and I think now we are on the way to a better future, but we can't lose our dreams. And when you're an artist, you have to find that inner strength and keep going, especially, like I said, kids that come from where I come from. I came from nothing, in Spanish Harlem. So yeah, that it all circles back to my real purpose,
You've been in this industry for a very long time. Like I said, we did our interview over 10 years ago, and even before that, you had a pretty big name, especially behind the scenes for writing for other artists and things like that. Because artists are affected so drastically right now because of COVID-19, how has this quarantine affected you? How has it affected your creativity? Have you been more creative? Have you been less creative? Like, what's been going on with you during this time?
When the quarantine started, I mean, I was really honestly aware of what was going on, like sometime in January. And it was crazy. I was just showing my family in Christmas time the Ebola movie. And then I seen something on social media about a possible virus, corona, that is similar to what the Ebola and all this stuff. And I was like, well, this is kind of crazy. And I think maybe because artists and people that are creative, we feel the ground rumble, you know what I mean? And we are responsible for the heartbeat of the streets with music and really setting the tone of where the world should, operate on a frequency level. And I was really aware of it. So when everything was happening that I imagined in my mind and that I was having conversations about, it was very hard for me to want to express myself, because I was just like, it was too vulnerable of a place. It was just scary, it was like scary. But I knew that I had to do something to contribute to the world in a positive way, for a message of hope and a message of love and what people are feeling. I think in these times we're reminiscing and thinking about what matters most, who matters most, and how can we become stronger people. And the song Still is about, all the things in life that make you still, the beauty of a relationship, life, poverty, like giving a homeless man in the street $1, or, things that stop you, love, childbirth, and in this time more than ever, quarantine, and I think when with the video and the song, I think it sends the right message and frequency, and it's a love song. And it's also, for me, I always put like my spirituality in it. It's always my message to God, like, how he could love us so much, and and we fall short all the time. And that's just like, you know, whoever your God is, whoever your higher being is, whoever you believe in, it doesn't matter, you know. But that was a little bit of what I was trying to inject in the song, as well as always a beautiful love story about people and things that make you just still, you know what I mean? And yeah, I hope the video can also give people, you know, memories of what we had to go through, but also they can see a beautiful outcome.
So we can expect a video as well with this release?
Well, I think I'm not too sure yet, because I may hold off releasing the video before a actual premiere somewhere.
Okay.
So that's in talks, but initially I was planning to release it on the 5th, on Friday as well. But there's a lot of different parts to the release that we're trying to line it up. I have a really good team that I think is doing an amazing job, and they also know my vision and purpose for this song, and everyone's working hard so we can get the best results out of the song and touch the most people we can touch.
And will this song be the lead off to an actual album? Because when was your last album? It's been a while, right?
Yeah, it's been a while. I mean, the thing is, I feel like there's so much bodies of work that has been released on me, featuring on artists' projects, or me, you know, writing for artists. I always feel like it's a piece of like my puzzle or mosaic, and I think the album, the word album is so hard to digest as well, because I think in today's music industry, where there's so much music at an all-time high, kind of like quantity level, I never wanted to be an artist to become background noise, and I never wanted to do music. I wanted to do music to motivate my people, because music found me, because I didn't have a choice, because I knew it was a gift, you know what I mean? And I studied the greats, and I always I'm forever a student. And, you know, I walk that walk. I'm on that journey that all the artists you can dream of from the past, that are greats, lived, you know. And I do this with pride, and I put a lot of pride behind my work, and I have loads of songs, but I just think in music, we have to also respect the times. And it's like, I want to be appropriate when I release songs. So maybe my plan is to release songs little by little. I don't want to be genre pigeonholed to one genre. I think that's the beauty of being a minority, and beauty of being a Latino with a black Latino father and a white Latino mother. And I grew up loving all music, and I've been blessed to write in every genre of music and be Grammy nominated. So why can't I be the actual artist giving that to the people? But I know it has to come in an increment, so it all ties together. So I just want to be appropriate with the times and give people a song at a time, and then maybe a full, well-rounded project. And I have all that done. I have so much music. I just want to, at this point, I'm just trying to bring people along with me. You know what I mean? It's like I started music all over again in my head, even though I know this, you know, I'm on my first place still. Like, I'm still that guy. You know what I mean?
Why do you feel like you're it's sort of like a reset? Why do you feel like it's starting over for you?
Because the contribution that I have given to music and the culture, I can sit here and talk about all those things, and not to say, you know what, with the ego, but I say it with, you know, I work that hard so people that come from the same circumstances that I grew up in could have hope and say, you know what, this man did it, I can do it too. And I just never kind of like raised my hand and said, I'm here. You know what I mean? I never, because I never wanted to be, I'm not doing this for clout. I'm doing this because this is like, this is my DNA. This is my blood. This is like how I express myself the best. You know what I mean? And after doing so many things, with and for so many other people, there comes a time when you stop and say, you know what makes anyone else greater than me? It's time for me to focus on my visions, my dreams, and build my brand. And that's really why now I'm not doing it alone. I have artists I'm developing and so much I'm focusing on, because I want it to be a movement. This is like a movement for real. Yeah. So now more than ever.
Let me speak for your fans though, because there are a lot of people, Lil Eddie fans, that you probably don't even realize that are waiting for music from you. So we would like an album sooner than later. But we do realize you are writing for other people, you are producing for other people, you are working on other projects. Let's talk about those other projects that you're working on that we may not know about.
Yeah, I mean, I did some stuff with Cap G, with Steph London, some stuff with Burna Boy, some stuff with, so many projects, some stuff with Jason Derulo waiting to come out.
Wow.
Yes, I did a lot of records with Robbie Williams. I know that's so.
Wow. You've always worked with a variety of people. That's the one thing I have to say.
Yeah, no, it's been really interesting. I mean, and then. And I have features coming out with some artists, and a Latin feature coming out with a huge artist in Romania named Andra, and she's like one of the biggest. And then I have another feature, but I don't want to talk about it because the deal's already been closed and done. I'm just waiting for it to release. I think this one puts it on for the culture hard as well, and that is in Spanish as well, Spanglish, Spanish. But yeah, a few things, man, and. I think also the older you get, the more in touch you become with your culture. And I realized how important it was also to sing in Spanish. You know what I mean? Yeah. Because I mean, I had this career in Asia and it was incredible, but I don't know how much of those albums reflect where I'm from and what I've been through. And, I felt so pressured to do music that was chasing the charts. And yeah, we got 5 #1 albums and the greatest hits in Japan, but it's like these people love songs that come from my heart, but they're not necessarily completely the story or narrative that I wanted to paint,
Mm-hmm. Most definitely. And you also said that you're working on developing other artists. You want to mention any of them? Maybe we can have them come through Kempire Radio one day.
Yeah. So I have an artist named Young Rath. His Instagram is called It's Young Rath. And he's, right now we're just putting records on SoundCloud. I haven't even touched any of the other platform algorithms or anything. Wow. And he's just literally been releasing music, and there's fan videos that uses music with hundreds of thousands of views. And this is only like in the last few months. And I've got a lot of big major deal offers with him. Wow. So I'm just trying to, his video is done, his record is done, his album. We're just building from the ground, because I seen how important having that foundation of YouTube and people putting covers up in my generation led me to a longevity, So I wanted him to be in touch with that generation that is a SoundCloud generation. It reminds me of YouTube, and they will stand up for you 10 years later. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, you know what I mean? Those things are important. So I'm super excited about him. I got another artist named Ario, amazing. There's so many different projects that I got. Like, I'm just kind of, and not only projects, I've been working with producers, getting producer deals, writers, artists. Wow. I just want to do the right things, and I want to be a part of history. You know what I mean? Anything I truly believe in.
How do you balance, being a mogul? Because that's exactly what you're describing with the artists that you're building and the producers and things like that. How do you balance that and being an artist?
It's insane. Like, some things just fall on my lap, and it happens as organic as you and I just decided to do this interview in days. And I could never say no to you, because you've always supported me. So I was like, I haven't heard from you, man. Of course, you know what I mean? And the same things happen. Like when in December, if you watch Hulu, X Factor, the band, I was a judge with Simon Cowell on that reality shit series. But literally, I just came in one day and they were like, yeah, you're going to be on camera. And I was like, oh, really? And then, you know, negotiated everything else after. But it was like, you know, people give me opportunities, and that opportunity was massive as well, to be next to Simon Cowell. And I didn't even, you know, I didn't imagine that like I would get that opportunity. And those are things that I would cherish, you know, for the rest of my life. So I can't even, it's not even, there's no time to balance it. It's just like show up and things will happen and things will work itself out. I don't really like to get too stressed out about paperwork or a deal, or I really like things to just be fluid and just move easy, you know?
Yeah. I know you mentioned a couple of times that you work with Simon Cowell. I mean, first of all, people know who that is and what he represents, especially in music and now TV. What's been some of the biggest lessons that you've learned from working with him?
Man, I think what I've learned the most from Simon is he's one of the most detailed people I've ever met. I mean, he is like, he'll find the smallest mark behind the refrigerator. Like, I think he's just that kind of guy, you know, and he's a visionary as well. And I think the visionaries are the ones that, you know, I've always grew up, you know, they've always been my motivation. Like Diddy is such a visionary, and you know, so many people. I mean, they have good stories and bad stories. You know, Barry Gordy or Michael Jackson. I mean, so many influences that I had that made me believe that was the right way to grow your artistry and plant your artistry, to reach out and become. You know, we have to be more than just the artist who's focusing on just ourselves. I think if you're a creator and you have a vision, you have to find ways to make those visions in your head just become reality in life. And that's what I've been moving forward and progressing, and just really making those other dreams come true. It all ties into music, but you know, some of my other dreams is just being a part of big, huge, the new age artists, their careers, like those huge celebrities that are gonna be here now to mark the 2020s. I want to have a fingerprint on those legacies, and I want to help discover those legacies for the world, you know. And the right kind of artist, the artist that I see, you know, legendary genes in, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. That's because that makes you a visionary yourself, because you're trying to see the future.
But also it's the responsibility, you know, of an artist. Like we get a voice and we get a chance to express ourselves. And when a person like me has been blessed enough to, everything I have has been because of music. I've been blessed enough to do music and make a living. I want to also give back and be responsible to birth those new artists that are just as great or greater than I could ever be, and give and be able to, you know, walk them into the world and say, you know what, I was a part of that history. It's like, you ever seen those movies? There's certain movies where you're like, like the Ray Charles movie. You're like, yo, Ray Charles was friends with this person, or Little Richard knew James Brown, and I want to be a part of that, you know?
Most definitely. You know, one of the things I've been asking sporadically here on the show is this question is, if this was your last conversation, what would you want to talk about? What would you want to say?
If this was my last conversation, I would want to say, love's in need of love. That's what I would say. And I would say, you know, it's not enough to not speak up about racism in America and the struggles for African Americans and Latinos and all the minorities, specifically Black lives and brown-skinned people, dark-skinned people. I think the whole world, if you're not brown-skinned or dark-skinned and you're not saying anything, you should you should be ashamed of yourself. You should be embarrassed. I think it's our responsibility to love each other, our brothers and our sisters, and to realize that we are all flesh and blood. And how do you want the world to remember you? And you have to understand that we go somewhere. We are energy. We go somewhere. And do you care about where you go? I mean, I have to, it all boils down to your beliefs, you know, and I'm the man that I am today. The man I am today, I really have to thank my parents for instilling the fear of God in me. You know what I mean? The fear of God in me, and always raising me to do the right thing and fight and be strong. And, you know, there's so many things my parents taught me, and it was a tough love, and some people may perceive me to be that same kind of guy, but you know what? Slavery wasn't abolished without a fight. It didn't stop because people felt bad about the slaves in the field. You know, at times we have to fight and stand up for what we believe in, and you even have to fight for love. You know what I mean? You have to fight for love, but I just say, you know, we need to just throw the bullshit away and just. It's so easy to love. It's so much easier to be happy, and racism is something that you learn, and you can unlearn things. You know, this is like generational curses of a mindset. And we have to unlearn those things for the future. If we want to keep the human race alive, if we care about our planet, if we care about our children, you know, and I think right now in these times, I would encourage the world to pray.
And thinking of the mark and the role that you've played here on Earth and in this generation, would you be happy with what you've added to the world?
I would be. I think that 99.9% of people who know me would say that I shared everything I ever had, you know, that I was the kind of guy that would let you stay in his house, would give you a shirt off his back, like just take care and make sure that everyone's good. And I never allowed myself to believe in scarcity anymore because I came from it, like fighting for the next meal. And I found faith, and I knew that, you know, my Lord will supply for me, and he will come through and he will help me figure it out. You know, I'm a strong believer in spirituality. I think that, you know, that is the only way we can operate on, you know, on the higher frequency, and to expect our dreams to come true and all these things, we have to give respect to the master of this universe, you know what I mean? And I think because I'm so connected with my spirituality, that has allowed me to become a successful person and a better person every day. So I feel like I have tattooed on my arm a song that I wrote with Fifi Dobson called Legacy. And it says, if I die tonight, at least I left a legacy. It's actually tattooed on my arm. I'm a strong believer in that. I want to be proud of what I do, and I'm proud of what I do and what I contribute, and the fingerprints on the hearts all over the world that I've left. I'm proud of that. Not many people could say. You can say, you know, you can accuse me of things or have assumptions, but you can never talk about my character and say that I'm, you know, a selfish person or unloving. And I represent that. That's the frequency and the energy that I always want to project to the world.
One of the things, I mean, you've worked with so many different artists throughout your career. And I remember during our first interview, we talked about you possibly, you know, I know you spoke about you wanting to record with Brandy. Where are we with that? 10 years later.
Well, I met Brandy in California. We spent a lot of time. We spent, some good amount of time together. She's a cool girl. I think I've never even pushed really like my music on Brandy. I think she's one of those artists where everyone kind of does that. And I always want those relationships and things to happen organically. And I think, when I came to California and I met her at that time, it was like, I was still learning where I was at. So I was like, just tiptoeing my way around California, getting the vibe of it, a feel of it. And I think that day will come. I mean, that day will come. I actually had a conversation with her label, and they were talking to me about that possibility. That would be an amazing idea for sure. She's one of the greatest.
Definitely. Besides Brandy, who else? 10 years later, who do you want to work with? Brandy's still on that list, but who else do you want to work with? Who's like on your dream list?
I mean, there's so many great artists now. I mean, I love her. I love everything she stands for right now, and I love Daniel Caesar. I think he's unbelievable. I love a lot of the new generation artists too. I like to big up the future, because I think there's a lot of great artists out there doing amazing things. I mean, Jasmine Sullivan too, even though she'll probably destroy me. But I love Jasmine Sullivan, man. I think she's amazing. Cardi B, I really love Cardi B. I think it's just like, it just brings me back home. It's in Spanish Harlem, not a few miles away from where she came from. So it's like, I understand that when she talks, and her passion is something that I admire, and her voice, her strength, I admire, her honesty, I admire that. I do.
Definitely. Most definitely. Well, we do appreciate you coming here. The single, when everyone hears this interview, sees this interview, will be out, and it will be located, a link to purchase the song or stream the song in our information box. Thank you, Lil Eddie, for doing this. We appreciate you. Please do not let 10 years go by before you come back.
Nah, I promise. Anytime, bro. I'm here. I appreciate you, man. Thank you, and God bless, bro. Be safe.
You too.